Hi everybody, it's Sandy, and today on Technique Refresh we're going to do a Snoopy stamp. And the reason is because I went back to see, just for fun, what was my earliest video posted on this channel. And I was very embarrassed to find the first video was a Snoopy stamp, and it wasn't that the coloring was bad, but the video quality was so atrocious. I think I had just gotten a new webcam or something. I must have somehow thought that was worth posting. I don't know. I think I was crazy. So I decided I was not going to link you to it, but I would do a Snoopy stamp video. And I'm doing this Christmas house because somebody on Instagram asked if I would do something on how to make lights glow. Since we're doing Christmas stuff, I thought that would be a reasonable thing to do as well. So if you ever have things you want to see, then leave them on my Instagram or here on YouTube and let me know, especially on these Technique Refresh. If there's something old that I did that you think I could do better or that you want to see another version of, then just let me know in the comments and maybe I will take your suggestion. So I'm building out the house with a lot of shadows underneath each of those slats. And it's more than most people would actually do on this stamp, because when Charles Schulz colored them, he just did them solid. He never did all the shading and stuff. But I did because I can't stop. I kind of overachieve. I know, I'm kind of that way. When I went back with my lightest tone, normally I would go back to the R14 that I started with, but I went to the R17 because the R14 was just too light, and I wanted his house to be a little bit, I don't know, beefier, I guess. So house is done. I'm jumping over to the background because I want to do all the glowing on the lights at the same time. So I'm doing a blue-green into blue background. I've really been enjoying doing these two-tone backgrounds or multi-tones, and you can certainly skip that part. No need to go crazy like me, but it's just something that I'm enjoying, and I'm having fun practicing my blending. Lots of times I'm finding when I do that my markers are out, so I always have to go back and pick a color that I actually have ink in the marker, so I don't have to get up off my lazy self, off my chair, to go re-ink things. But these two colors worked pretty well. The B06 and BG13 are not a natural blending group, and they're going to be a little tougher to blend because of that. So if you don't know what a natural blending group is, it's a perfect time for a little commercial for the Copic class that I taught and is still available over at onlinecardclasses.com. A link in the doobly-doo, and you can take that class. You can watch those videos for the next 935 years if you purchase them once, and they're probably one of the best purchases you'll make if you want to learn how to color with Copics, because they are, the whole class is so full of great information. I learned a ton, and you'll get all the information on the numbering system, how to pick colors that blend, etc., etc. Lots of blending techniques and really fun stuff. So I'm picking a color in between the B06 and the BG49 so that I can have one that will blend the two together a little bit better instead of trying to force the two of them to work together. And then going back to the BG13 and pulling that color up from the bottom and softening that out just a bit more all the way across that background. And since my blending isn't coming out as perfect as I might like, last week I showed you a technique, and I'm going to do it again here real quickly, using the mister. I put some colorless blender in a mister, and I'm doing the quick mask with my fingers of his house because I didn't want his house to have the texture, but you can see the texture that adds to the background image, and it kind of hides some of the streakiness. I've zoomed in here so that you can see also the glow around each one of these little lights. And I'm just coloring, scribbling over top of them. And you can leave that white area first if you want, but I find that this tends to push that color out and make it look more like it's glowing. And if you aren't getting enough color down, then make sure your colorless blender is full of good ink. And if you want it to stop extending and not keep bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, then just hit it with a heat gun real quickly, and then you can go over it again if you need to brighten that white highlight. I'm giving Snoopy a little bit of a shadow because he's out in the moonlight while his twinkling lights are underneath of him. So I'm just adding using an end mark, a neutral gray. And if you want to see more on grays, there'll be a link to a video at the end about different grays. You could use any gray for this. I just used the end because that's what my hand landed upon. And as I do all these different pieces, I'm also taking my Signo pen and fixing some details on, you know, areas where my coloring went over. And now I'm going to just add a couple different colors to the lights. And you can see some of the lights even have a little drop of red in them, but the color kind of pushes that out. And as I add the color, so he's got yellow, green, and purple lights on his little doghouse. And now that everything's good and dry, I can go back in with my colorless blender and just fix a few spots where I wanted to add a little extra glowing to the each one of those lights. And now I'm also adding some snow or stars, whichever you want to see them as, to the sky in the background. And now the final touch that I seem to put on everything now is my Signo Uniball pen. And I added a dot to each one of the lights, as well as a dot inside of each one of my stars or snowflakes. So there's the finished card. I stamped just a very simple Merry Christmas from Savvy on it because I thought the font really worked well with the cartoony little guy. And you can see here the colors are much stronger in real life than they were in the video. I cannot seem for the life of me to get all of my lights settled so that the reds and the blues pick up at the same time. This is from one of my practice images, and I didn't spray the background. So here's just a view of what it looks like if it's not sprayed. And I kept the design a little more modern and linear this time. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was educational for you. And here are two more videos, the promised ones. On the left is the one from last week showing the spraying of that background and how to create that, and the video with the grays with our little mad scientist. So leave me a comment in the doobly-doo. Let me know what you think. Give me your suggestions for next week. And I will talk to you guys later. Take care.